Hey there, gamers. I hope everyone's been having a wonderful day. So I think I have figured out some of my issues here with my stream. So that's what we're checking out right now. Okay, looks like we do have a broadcast going. So I am just trying to bring that up here. I want to make sure I've got my volume fixed up and all that good stuff. I was having some issues earlier today. Okay, it looks like we're coming up. I'm going to just check my sound, make sure I've got my issues resolved with this. Okay, hey, and we have sound. If that's too loud, definitely let me know. We finish setting this broadcast up, then we're going to go ahead and start our live tutorial, guys. I apologize for not being able to get that on time. I was gaming on my Xbox, and they've just made it so complicated using OBS. They had a firmware thing that come out, and they want you to upgrade, start paying money for all this stuff and all that. So I figured, hey, you know what? I have a PS5, and I can direct stream to YouTube with it, so I may as well just start doing that and just put the game on there. So we're now moved over to the PS5. That way I can actually live stream without having to deal with a PC and a capture card and all that good stuff. Should have made a switch over a while back, but I'm a creature of habit. Most of the people I used to play with are Xbox, and a lot of the games that we used to play didn't have this new cross-platform stuff on it. But it seems like more games are going this way, so this is going to be great. I am going to start our tutorial here in just a second, guys. I apologize. I'm just trying to get a couple last things set up here. Okay, it looks like all of that is now good. Now, it seems like, and I could be wrong, it seems like my chat will actually pop up here. My text chat. If someone wants to give that a try, see someone's watching. If you could text something in there. If it doesn't, definitely let me know. So that is in-game chat. I don't want in-game chat going on. I have to learn a few things here on my console. There's a few things just a little different now. So, see, L3 brings up this. Bring up our settings. I'm going to turn off that option on here. Bottom right hand corner, sweet. Hey, serious, appreciate it, man. We're going to get this stuff figured out. I was so bummed out. I still haven't figured out how to get the freaking volume on here. It's been driving me nuts. Everything is set up the way it was. I think it was the firmware. It updated about 20 minutes before the stream, and everything I had set up just like took a big hiccup on me. So I think most of the stuff is going to be the same controls as the Xbox. The only difference is that real big, I don't know what you call it, like a touchpad in the center. That's basically our menu button that we use to bring up the menu now. So volume's good too. Sweet. I appreciate it. Let's see what we got here. So yeah, just been kind of working on this Empire deal, man, and it has been. I tell you what, they're not playing around with it. They want to make sure that we're earning every aspect of this thing, as far as the eights that it takes, and then of course the silver it takes too. I mean, it seems to me it costs more to fund this stuff than it used to, and of course with the ability to do these other types of things. Obviously, it's costing more as far as the eights and stuff that we're having to do, but I mean, I'm looking at 12, 13,000 silver, and that's not even for a fresh bump. That was just from, I guess it's probably been about 4 or 5 hours the last time I hit that. So on my funding production, so everything in the Helm's definitely climbed up in price here. Okay, that looks pretty good there. Man, you were not joking about the quality of the image is just so much better here on Xbox. Let's see which of these views I usually use here. Nope, not that one. Could be this one. It looks about right. Way better. Well, I think that PlayStation has a better graphics card. Yeah, that's one of the things that kind of really got me with this whole stream is you would think Microsoft, being a computer company, that their gaming thing would be the most seamless when it comes to streaming. That is not the case. Okay, so I'm not sure what the volume is, where the volume adjustment for that is in game where you do your achievements. I'm gonna have to look into that because that would get annoying. That ping. I turned it off on Xbox. I'm not sure how to do it in here. I'm not gonna mess with it through this, but definitely something to look forward to. Figuring out. See if we managed to get a dolphin or not. I don't think we got anything. Okay. So basically what I'm doing here is while I'm building my helm, folks, for those just coming in, it takes a while. It really does. You're not going to do it overnight, but you want to capture your areas, as many territories as you can. You're going to want to make sure that you have a supply of pieces of 8 coming in at all times. Now, where Mega Fort Houston used to be the place that we could do that at, there was a few issues over the last few weeks where we've had some issues with it actually like glitching out when you're farming at the second chest, which will be where you destroy the wall on that eastern side of the fort. So I'm not exactly sure if they've completely got that fixed. I know I've been in there a couple times, and you can usually get a couple farms out of it, then it starts to mess up again. So if you run it at, just jump back into tier 1. I'm going to show you a few things that you can do. Obviously, you know about I hope that you know about these buyouts. Now, a buyout, you don't really know what it is they're going to sell it for until he reveals the demands. Actually, it looks like this may be down here. Nope, there's nothing down that way, so it's going to be up top. Now, it could be silver. It could be, a commodity item like Baddock, Cecil. Typically, things on this side of the map are going to be things that you'll find in Indies. Assuming it's not silver. Let me see here. Now there's supposed to be somebody here. We got to find him. Now it's not going to be a Helm liaison. We're looking for a Helm smuggler, so it's going to be that paper and quill. Here we go. Now, when you get to location, understand you have to wait for the cooldown. It's just like with the hostile takeovers. Now, that cooldown on there used to actually take place a different amount of time than what you would get on your hostiles. So what I have noticed though is if you're looking at a cooldown on that, you're looking at the cooldown on this, you have about a minute difference. So you should be able to have a minute to jump in here. And back in the day, you used to be able to jump into the solo right after and get it farmed out, and it would go so quick that you could then jump over and run a hostile takeover in a zone where you maybe need to boost it up. So one of the things I am currently looking at here is the levels to what it is. So this is a 4. I don't really need it. I could go farm it for the 350 or for the 450, or I could come over here and hit this one for the 450. Or you could potentially come over and hit this. But like I say, if it's something where it's a fort that you have, see, that's a 4 there as well. So there's no need for me to really hit those other than for the 8s. These here, once you start getting those up in level at a 4, you're only getting 175 pieces of 8. So it's not an effective farm at that point, in my opinion. What is effective, though, is hitting these for 450. What you're doing is you're just essentially, 900 to 450. Sometimes it'll be 900, sometimes they're only 450. We got 33 seconds left to find out. I think this one was 900. We'll double find out here. 24 seconds. But yeah, so that's one of the things is your Helm, man. I do recommend that you do it. There's quite a few gamers that have just basically used Mega Fort Houston to garner what 8s they believe they're going to need. But understand this is not going to reset again. All of this stays the same. So the sooner you get it done, the sooner you don't have to farm Mega Fort Houston all the time, and you can start running like Wolf Hunter. You can start running a lot of these extra, Fangs and Pharaoh. What I've found, if you go to tier 1, the most effective, unless they change something in payouts, the most effective is hitting Fangs and Pharaoh, hitting Hunter Hunted. There's usually a treacherous turn up here, and then of course show of strength, but it looks like they're missing, so they probably got hit recently by someone. Okay, let's go up here now. We're going to talk to this gentleman. We're going to buy it. So it's a fine relic. We need 2 of them. We have 16. Now, in a past stream, I'd showed y'all where to find those types of things. If you aren't quite sure what it is, based off of what we've seen on that map, that is going to be what are they called here? Clanfara. So to find that fine relic, they're going to be located where these little tents are, or TPs, I don't know what you want to call it, little settlements. So that's where you're going to be able to find relics. Now, there is one exception to that, which is here for the the Campaign Royale. They have a basic relic here, and then they have a fine relic over here. Now, I don't know why the other territories don't seem like they have to me, they don't seem like they have a basic relic. But those are areas you're going to get those. Then, of course, your forts, you're going to get your military relics from. You can zoom all the way out. It's always going to show your forts and your capitals. Capitals look like castles. So if you're trying to figure out where the capital is for a specific territory because you have opened up your Helm to a point that you can start building these ascension modules and things like that. So you have ascension modules over here. Each territory will have one or both. So this one here is actually the Rempa, and you can start that off if you want to build upgrade parts, which is what I currently have going on. But we could build that up to ascension modules later. Now, they're not going to make a large number of ascension modules. You can use your 8s also. So you're going to be able to get some of these things built up. So, and one other thing on here. So in the past, I've mentioned that you can rank up your factories just by running these hostile takeovers. Now, there was a question about why it wasn't working for someone, and I thought I had covered it in the stream, but I must have left it out. So you have this Helm Empire piece here, and then you have this coercive growth. Now, remember, well, for those of us who played since the beginning of year 2 and even last year, but at the beginning of the year, this was broke, and it kept resetting our 8s, and it was really hard to get anything done. But you managed to see where I'm at, just persistence. So, and there's people that's already completed this stuff and probably have 5s now. By no means am I tearing up setting any new records on this thing, But you have to get cost of growth done first. This is going to complete a takeover opportunity targeting owned manufactories. So if you own it and you target that takeover, it's going to give you a free upgrade all the way from level 1 up to level 4. After you hit level 4, you have to bump that by pieces of 8. Now, I don't recommend taking them to 5s. I've got some 5s here. If you're going to spend the 10,000 pieces of 8 to upgrade this to a 5, do it on a capital where you're going to be building like, your Ascension modules or your upgrade parts, because it's going to boost your production rate. When we first started in, I just assumed that they had got rid of the books and it was the same Helm that we always had, but they've changed so much stuff in this from year one. I do recommend that you take time and look at what you're looking at. Each territory, used to, you had a Helm book and you could bump up your supplies, what you're doing, but each territory is going to also specialize in one of your products. So like this in here is for silver snuff production. Then we have over here, we got the, where you at? Black Lotus opium production. And you're just going to find where each territory has its own thing. So this one here is carved Imperial Jade. I'm not bothering with the Imperial Jade. It's very rare, and as far as you can't get a lot of it, and there's not really selling for anything more than what you can your other gold skulls and stuff. And it just happens to be that my 5s, they run off of the raw jade, so I just go ahead and use it to boost those factories and don't worry about doing anything else, because that'll produce some extra 8s there. But you have unlocked production gold skull rum. Now when you start opening up some of these other aspects here, such as, let's see where we're at here. Yeah, upgrade parts or Ascension modules. These are known as exotic parts. You're also going to notice that there's some other ones that are for specialized materials. Then, of course, exotic material, this is going to be for your parts and for those, your upgrade parts, and, of course, for your Ascension modules. That's going to help boost that. But you're going to have some other ones that's refined specialized materials. You may be wondering, well, what's a refined specialized material? Well, when you're in doubt, all you have to do is look at the color scheme of what it is they're allowing you to produce there. So if we look, let's just pick a territory here. So, of course, we can choose to build pieces of 8, but we could also decide, you know what, I want a factory bringing in green heart planks, so we could do that. Now, mind you, these specialized materials cost pieces of 8 instead of silver to build. So you're going to start spending 8s when you do these. That's why I've just focused in on right now for my upgrade parts and stuff, because used to be able to get that from Mega Fort Houston, as far as it being like just every time you could just sit there and just farm that thing out. But with some of the issues that's been having here in game with it sticking in the second stage, I'm hoping they get it fixed. It sounds like things have gotten better with that, unless that's changed since last night. But that's a good thing to do, is you can farm it here in tier 1. That's what I do, and ask for help. Someone's going to come, but you don't even have to ask for help. If you've got a good build on your ship, you're going to be good to go. Now, if you're just coming into the game, though, all of this stuff probably isn't going to be too relevant to you. So if we have people here that are watching and you're new to the game and you have not seen this screen and you have no idea what I'm talking about, make sure you comment in there and let me know what it is you're needing help with, because unless you tell me, I don't really know, and that's the whole point for the live tutorial, is you tell me what you need help with, and we're going to try to put it up here on the screen and see if we can figure it out together and help you out with that, because that's one of the things we do in the Banished Souls Discord. Earlier, and he may still be here, he may have went to sleep already, but Why It's So Serious is the leader of Banished Souls Discord. We were trying to get this thing scheduled up where we could do a dual stream, and we'll figure it out. We're not going to give up on that. I think it's going to work out, but I just got to find the right program to stream this stuff to. But we're looking at trying to get a lot of new folks coming in that's just coming into the game, because this is on PS Plus now, where you can get it and you can play it for free. So that's pretty awesome. Eventually it may come to Xbox, don't know. A lot of folks with that Xbox, I would have figured that it probably would have came to Game Pass first, but hey, that made me wrong, because I got to thinking and I got to figuring. So, but yeah, so a lot of these forts here, now when it comes to picking up 8s, you can travel out and you can pick this up if you want to, but what I do recommend doing, you should be getting different ships. When you build a ship and you rank it up, when you move on to your next ship, don't delete that ship because you're going to need it to pick up 8. So you come in here and you click on this and tab over. It needs to be a level 2 or higher on the fort, and it's going to tell you a recommended ship rank. Now, as you see, we got some 15s, some 14s. Those 14s I've just taken auxiliary weapons off of probably and need to be switching that back over to them. But then, of course, some 13s and things like that, yeah, I didn't really bother bringing up too high, but I wanted to have it in case I needed it. And then, of course, we got a couple of 9s just laying around here, but they're sitting on some of their own forts. So you can use whatever you want. Once you start getting up to level 15, they're only going to pick up 610. So being a 9 would do it, but I have it sitting on a fort. I'm going to go ahead and use this 12. The reason I'm doing that is I don't want to use my other stuff. Since the rogues that go after you when you're picking up your 8s are a good source of silver chest. Yeah, they really are. They're not a bad spot. Another good source for silver is what I do. Now, for those at the early stage of the game, you're not going to be able to do this just yet, but we can talk about some silver too in here. There's a lot of great ways to do that. If you look at the excuse me, guys, the privateers, they're the red holes with the red sails. Those carry a lot of silver. Once you get where you open up your helm, I do recommend that you focus in on your upgrade here in this top tree, because once you start making your production rate, improving your distillery equipment, and you can do improved laboratory equipment. So this is going to be for Red Isle. This one here is going to be for Talak Panjara. Whichever side you want to focus on first is totally up to you. I do like this one here because you do get the Rogue Scavenger perks as well. And then, of course, you get those bulk offers, which are going to give you some more materials. Now, we could hold R1 here and go straight to our helm, but I'm going to take you the long way here to the hideout. Now, one of the things I have been doing is typically I don't bother losing my helm wanted level, which is I've come in here and I've gone to an order registry after you've produced goods in your distillery, which is here. And I didn't do any helm farming today, unfortunately, so I don't think I've got anything really to refine. Let's see. I got some sugar cane. We can do that. I am stocking up. Hey, I finally got enough for Arrow to get him his order of the sugar cane. So I'm not sugar cane, the juniper berry. And you can switch stocks around. Like I say, you may have someone who's focused in on a certain product and you have all of yours done, or maybe you have a certain product that you want to focus on and you can help farm together. But you would then come over here to this material once you start producing that stuff. And there's a couple ways you can get pieces of 8. You can sell via a standard order. Now, understand the location where you sell that to is going to change, but that's the guy that, not the one with the Pill and Quinn, the smuggler, but the Helm official that was there. You would sell to him these materials, and you have to sell out to the location. You don't have to carry it with you because every location that he's at is going to have a built-in cache that accesses your warehouse, so you don't have to carry all that mess. Now, the roving ones are the ones that I do because I don't like to sell my Gold Scope product, but early on I did. I'm not going to lie. I mean, you're looking at 420 per order, so you're looking at 848 there. And then, of course, you're looking at over here at this order roving, you get 420 for these black stuff, and then, of course, another 420 for the Blue Lotus. Sometimes those will pay more, sometimes they pay less. It just really kind of depends. So, and you just travel out there and blow up the liaison. Now, if you're looking for materials, understand when you blow that liaison up, you're going to have what's called marked for death. That means the helm is going to hunt you. Now, when the helm is hunting you, those ships are going to carry cannonballs. They're going to carry different types of munitions depending on the type of ship that's hunting you. They're going to carry a lot of these materials here. So I typically keep a helm wanted level on me. Anyone that's ever sailed, they'll tell you, that's a man. You can tell when I'm coming to the area because all of a sudden the helm ships show up. You get your supply deal from the roving. You go out and you destroy them. And then you can buy it if you want to. Like I say, I don't spend silver. And what you're doing is you're building up an empire. And when you finally get your materials built up to the final stage, we're talking gold skull products or the blue lotus or the silver stuff, you can take those, or the black lotus and the silver stuff, you can take those and sell them for silver. And that's how you're going to get up into the millions and tens of millions and hundreds of millions once you start getting something going on that. You can farm these fort plunders, going and destroying the walls. They're going to give you different materials. Sometimes you'll pick up like right here, you got Fort Deuster twice, so you can pick up double the materials out of them. Sometimes you'll end up with 3 contracts in the same area. Now, something that I do, recommend if you're the type of person you don't want to have Helms hunting you the whole time, get ready to run this afterwards. Each one of these rogue hunts, if you stack up, I'm gonna have to go to another map here. If you stack up on your Helm upgrade up top here, let's see where you're at. This one here. Every time you deter a rogue ambusher and eliminate their fleet, or complete a rogue hunt, okay, you're going to reduce mark for death by 30 minutes. Now, I don't typically go around trying to reduce my mark for death, but if it's becoming a nuisance to people around me, I can come in here, pick up those attack contracts. Not only am I going to be reducing my stuff there, I'm going to be also picking up these specialty materials that they're carrying. And they carry quite a bit of stuff. So like this one here, you would pick up the raw jade, but you're also going to get the worm's breath that a lot of folks are needing that's coming into the game. That's where you're going to get that from. You don't have to buy it from Unita. You can actually sail out to that location, farm that fleet, blow up the little escort ship that they're escorting around, the cargo ship, and take that stuff. And each of the other ships that's protecting him are going to have materials that you can grab. Same thing with this one here, and that one there. Sometimes you're going to end up with them in the same area. If you see a rogue in this dark zone here, understand you are in the storm. So if you're in a small ship and it is not at least a level 13, you're not going to survive that. So don't bother doing that in a small ship that's not a 13, man. You're just going to get smoked. But I guess we could go through and show you some of the stuff I'm talking about. I think most everybody knows, and I just don't want to bore you with the same content as watching me sell out. But now when it comes to silver, one of the things I do like to do is come down here. I'm going to show you one of my early stomping grounds. This is where I used to roll, and you can get paintings and things like that, the brandy and stuff that sells for quite a bit of silver, guys. I apologize for the coughing tonight. I'm just freaking allergies, and if I'm not snotted up, I'm coughing like crazy. Here we go. But if you were traveling with those contracts, right straight out from here is where those liaisons would be at. And as soon as you sink them, you average, I think it's 30 minutes for each liaison you sink. And for every liaison, and I sink everything that's on the water. So you could end up potentially with a mark for death for hours upon hours. So you can reduce some time off of it. So we're looking at, there's some rubber here. There's 10 paintings. So those sell really good. There's 10 paintings on that one. 6 paintings on this one. So this is definitely worth getting. This is one of the early stages I would hit. Now we'll have to check to see who's buying these for the most. Who's paying the most for these things. It used to be just to the left of us, or just across to the east, I guess I should say. All right, let's pick up our goods. That said it had 6 paintings, but it only gave me 1. No, there it was. It's just taking a minute for it to come up, and then there was a painting there. Now, you can travel by sea and just continue to farm these guys. say, you're going to find different types of materials. Or we're going to go ahead and take the fast travel just so we're not watching, selling around so daggone much here. But what you're going to do is you're going to farm all this stuff. You're going to get your camphor. You're going to get like 400 silver off each of these ships. Cannonball crates. You're going to end up typically just to the south down in this area. If you sell around out here, you're going to end up bringing in several of the privateers, the large privateer, red sailed, red hull, shooting torpedoes like mad. Sink those guys pretty quick. You're going to get a good harvest of silver out of them. You're going to get some chests. Those Helm rogues, they drop when you have a wanted level and you keep blowing them up, you're going to be getting silver chests and they stack up like really quick. And these are things that you want to do. Go on hunts. You can go on a hunt with your friends. You can go on a hunt with me if you add me on your thing. You can always travel with me. Just let me know what you're needing to farm. But typically I'm farming things that are kind of specific to my needs, but I do pull off and help a lot of new folks if I can. So used to, if you come down to this location, this corrupt, I think it's a corrupt DMC or something like that. No, Shipwreck Road. He used to actually pay quite a bit for these paintings. Now I say used to, I'm not sure what he's paying now, so let's find out. He's paying 102. I think we can sell for better than that. And this is where you become a merchant, and you can do this. You find locations, or you can sell it for what you can get out of it. I mean, that's 1,000 silver, but I think I could beat that price. So I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna look to the commodity dealer. And I do recommend when you get where you have plenty of silver to go to the commodities dealer and do a little bit of a trading around, because you can buy low here and you can sell high in Talak Panjara and actually make pretty good money, or even at some of the other areas. Let's see what she's buying this stuff for. And like I said, they may have come in. That's actually paying less. So mangrove in Africa, that could be. It's been so long. So there's a couple folks that buy. You have a corrupt campaigner here. I don't think he's going to pay much, but we're going to look by him. We got to walk by him anyway. So he's looking at paying, well, I take it back, 247. So that would actually double our money. Now I could walk back onto the flea-ridden island, but I'm going to go ahead and sell it to him for that. So we ended up getting 2,717 silver instead of just 1,700 silver by selling it for 107 a piece. So that's how you're going to work, do some commodity trading. You want to find who's selling it, and thank you, Sirius, for chiming in there, man. It's been so long since I've had to do some of these levels. I am stacking these Gilded Raider caches for the Helm leases. Now you can get white skull products, blue skull product, or blue lotus products, black snuff, silver snuff, white snuff, and you can open these things up and they're going to give it to you, and you can go and sell that to Skurlock now. There was a question about using their products or saving their products up to buy Helm leases. I wouldn't bother doing that, mainly because there's not really a lot of people right now. They're really not farming any of the hostels or anything like that. I mean, I hardly ever see anybody running these hostels anymore. Even the solos. I mean, there just doesn't seem to be anybody running them. So I don't know if there's just that many people that have completed their stuff or what. I'm not really sure. I think a lot of folks are relying on Houston, but the way I keep seeing it go down, I just, I've been playing this game too long to try and put myself in a situation where I'm relying on any one source. You want to keep multiple sources open for getting your products and stuff. So now I think I sold a bunch of stuff to him that I could have put in the warehouse. We didn't sell him our cup for bars though. I think I accidentally sold my Raider chest to him. That's why you don't do stuff at 2 o'clock in the morning. Oh, well, I'll get some more of them. I think there's like 15 of them. Oops. Okay, so what I'm looking for now is I'm looking for something again that needs to be taken up to a 4. Like I said, you can pay to get them to a 5 from there, but I don't pay for anything. All this stuff over here is just, as you can see, you get a lot of pop-ups over here in Africa. There's almost always 1 or 2 in Africa. If there's not 2 in Africa, there'll be 1 in Africa, 1 in the Red Isle, if not 3 or 4. And then, of course, you'll be getting these as well. Now, another great way is running manufacturer defenses. Now, it's up to you what type of a ship you want to use for that. Now, I am going to, just for old nostalgia's sake, get my old sandbuck out. And I'm probably just disgusted serious because I don't think he cares for this ship much. But like I said, I like to get it out for my you know, little defenses and stuff. But out here, especially tier 2, this ship has become so outclassed in the game with all the buffing. Uh, they've nerfed some of the really good weapons too. But I don't know. It's just a nostalgia thing for me, man. I can still run a defense with her, so at least I got that going. Now I want to make sure I haven't moved anything around in here because I've been playing around with some stuff. Okay, Warhammer is still on there. Okay, good. Now this is going to give me 458s, and I don't know if it's the way it used to be or not, but back in the past, if you did not protect your factories, you would end up in a situation where you would have your eights get taken. Half of them, I think it was, or it may have been all of them or something. Then your factory would be down for 12 hours. A lot of people would just ride out, sell, and then, hey, we ain't worried about it in the factory, go down for 12 hours. I don't like to leave my factories down. I like everything producing what they're supposed to. So we're going to go fight this thing real quick. I may work on a set of demi cannons later, just some level 4 of the white grade, or level 5 of the white grades. Seemed like they had scatter or something like that on them now. Seemed like they had a perk for scatter. I'll have to look at that again. Back in the day, they didn't have any kind of perk at all that you get for free, like, bombards. I think you get explosive 1 and piercing 1 over there on the long guns and stuff, but okay, so let's get the location here. We will be watching for the Shadow Fleet, I think is who we're dealing with. Unless they've changed something since last time I was on here. Now what we're going to do here, now that I'm at location, and I could have fast traveled here. No, I'm not going to fast travel. I'm right here. Yeah, I could have fast traveled, but I save silver where I can. It's close enough. Now, to get back to the other side of the map, I may fast travel. But that's one of the things you really got to watch, especially if you start rolling your rolls on your weapons, doing ascensions and stuff. You could go through some silver real quick. I think I blew through about 12 million silver in about 3 days rolling out weapons. I was like, this is going to be expensive. Wow, kind of an ineffective defense system for such a large ship system. And, of course, our factory turrets. Now, there is actually something that we can boost in game. Wow, man, this is kind of crazy for a tier 1. You want to try to push me out of bounds here? What's he doing there? Now the main thing is you want to keep your fort alive. I like to try and destroy every ship that I can, but understand you might miss a few, especially with the buffing that's been going on in game. and you're going to start running into a lot of armored ships around wave 3, I believe. By level 15s too, or 14s, I should say. Now this is a great way for XP, by the way, guys. If you're looking for a quick way to level up your ship, what you do is when your friend has any kind of defense system, just load up with them. Come in here and give them a hand, because you're going to get, I think it's 130 points per ship, something like that. But I always use this one for the spectral defense when I go to use it, mainly because, man, that freaking man Godin, he doesn't really put out much damage, I don't think. But he's so tough, I like to get right up on his weak spots and just shotgun him with this thing. I'll go ahead and give us a little heal here. I was kind of surprised we actually seen a heavy ship in wave 2. That usually comes in at wave 3. So we are using the Buccaneer's Oath armor, by the way. So each ship that we sink, we get an additional 25% for 30 seconds. Now, if that doesn't stack to like a 50% damage or a 75% damage, it just resets that 30-second timer. But 25% is significant when you're using a ship that is specializing in a blaze or even explosion for a lot of the sloop users. Just started playing a week ago. Yeah, man, we've been playing this since early release of year 1, and it's coming a long way. Now there's a lot of people that are they come in, they ascended their ships and their weapons, and they're waiting for season 2 to come out. But I think it's a great idea what they did with the whole ascent into chaos, so all the year 1 players have a chance to kind of catch up to where everyone's at. Now that may be something that Ubisoft may be doing more of in the future. I don't know. I know we're looking at the Pirate Lords event. I'm not entirely sure what that's going to be. I think it's just they're going to start rotating all the Pirate Lords back in the game. Got on PS Premium. That's what I did. I went ahead and I downloaded it on my PlayStation. I've been playing on Xbox for over a year, and like I say, I just got where it was harder and harder to find a stable live stream platform for that, as far as like the software that I was using. So I'm glad it's been helping you, man. Oh, that's my own ship. I can't destroy that. The normal DMC ships, if you're doing your defense here, will be defenders. You can't actually cause any damage to them. Now your friends can, and they can damage your friends. That's something to remember about your walls if they come over here, or Houston or something like that. This is actually first defense I've had down here. Everything's usually in the Red Isle or Africa. No one helps you to boss ships. Yeah, we do a lot of farming on Fridays, well, and weekends as well. Well, really throughout the week, we farm up a lot of these bosses and stuff. I mean, we make sport of it and fill the server up with the Banished Souls crew and just continue to hammer around. So definitely be looking on the videos. There's links to post up to be able to join up. On Discord, we do all of our chat in Discord. We don't use in-game chat because, frankly, it's never been very reliable. All right, so we got one ship down. There goes another. Now, each time the ship destroys one, we're getting a reset on that 30-second boost. Yeah, PlayStation Party Chat. That's another great option. And of course, Xbox has Party Chat too. You can talk with folks. Uh, but we're talking like groups of 16 to 20 people sometimes, so it'd be hard to get them all in a PlayStation Chat. But I'm not sure if there's a limit on how many can be in one or not. I have to look at that. Oh, I missed that ship. Taking me a little bit to get used to my aiming and shooting here. My triggers are just a little different. Like I said, I've been playing for too long on the Xbox, and that old huge freaking controller that doesn't quite fit your hands. So it's a little more ergonomic design. I like it, but it's going to take a little getting used to the feel. The hardest part of this is trying to get the ship to sink in time so you can shoot around him to get to his buddy. And I do have that soul mending on my demon cannons here on the port side, I guess. See? There you go. About 15 seconds. Well, we might get them all destroyed. I hate to let them go, but we may chase them down anyway. Man, that's a lot of armored ships. All right, there's a couple down. I think we finished them off here. Like I say, great source to get those XP points. Main thing though is make sure you don't end up inadvertently making the team you just defended or the fort you just defended aggro on you while you're chasing these things down. Yeah, a lot of upgrades, and like I say, if there's something you're needing to see though, let me know. We'll try to put it up here so we can hopefully explain it, because this, like I say, man, we've had a year, and those of us who have been playing for a year, a lot of this stuff is new to us, and we're still kind of tweaking in, trying to learn some of the in and outs of the best way to do some stuff. Like with the Helm, I can't really say that I found, the trick of the best way to do it. It's just what's the best way for you. For me, what I ended up doing is I wanted to open up as many attributes of being able to get the as many bases as possible, because you start getting 8s in, even if you're just level 1 and 2 waiting to upgrade those levels. Even if you don't have everything that there is, you're pulling in some 8s. I think you start with 8 factories if I'm not mistaken, and when I get to shore I'll show you some of the locations where you can upgrade in your hub to get some more, but I did focus on that factory. Ton of grinding. Yeah, it's a lot of grinding. Yes, that's one of the things that you'll run into. Eventually, you're going to have all a bunch of commodities, a bunch of silver. Your pieces of 8 will be up. Then people are like, "Well, how do you get so much? What's the quickest way to get that?" There's really not a quick way. There's effective ways, like you can look for brandy and things in the codex. You can do like I showed you, go get them paintings and go take them to Command Grove. Now, that there may be an area that pays more than that. You can check around, but like I say, we just went to Command Grove in Africa, and sold them there for 200 something per painting. And we didn't have anything in it. It may not have been a lot of paintings at 11 paintings, but hey, man, it's still some paintings, so definitely worth it. Now, back in the day, these skirmishers, these were the ships that people had so much problem with. For some reason, I guess for the new players, maybe, they have it where all the health is like almost down completely. There's almost no health on those guys at all anymore. So that could just be something for the newer players coming into the game. I'm not entirely sure. Okay, so let's bring up our got 300,000 silver, but pieces of eight. Yeah. Now we used to be able to garner, into millions of eights every season. That's the thing in the past in this game, unless you're farming Megafort Houston. But that, like I said, you're probably not going to farm millions out of this thing the way it's been kind of tweaked a little bit here. So we do have that's another four. That one's repeated twice now, and these are all fours over here. So yeah, when you get this here, you like I say, you could be getting your eights by running those. Now those missions are every hour they refresh, so I would get something where you can at least get one type of material. I'd probably do each lab here just so you can at least get the basic materials going. And then you're going to come down here to the Helm. Now the very first one you get is going to be your Empire Administration. It's going to increase by 8. You're definitely going to want to get that. Then of course you have another 8. Now you don't have to take like your Savvy Traders all the way up to a 3. You can bump it once and then come down and open another one. And by the time you get to here, you should start having a semi-decent roll of eights. For those of you just coming in, though, you don't have the advantage of we came in with 30,000 pieces of eight and we was able to, farm out some stuff. Then we, first thing most of us did was hit the Helm. But what we actually ended up doing, took what we had on our pieces of eight and our ships. I took a level 13 ship and I just came over here to make Fort Houston and did what I could while people were farming it. And we were pulling in probably 80, 90,000 a night for a few hours of farming. So of pieces of eight. Now you may be looking, go, well, you've only got 41,000. I mean, how much have you spent? Well, some of these things are insane, the amounts. So like this one here is 35,000 eights. This one here is going to be 25,000 eights. And it was that way on all of the tiers. Say they was 25 and 35,000. When you get down to the points, this one here was 25,000, I think. See people dominance. This is going to increase the amount of production rate for each facility by 1.5% within the sea people. So it's 35,000 pieces of eight. This here we could get our exotic material boost as well, but you're looking at 12,500. It's doing okay. I can boost those if I want to. It's not too bad. Just get the one for Gold Skull Rum. Yeah, so it gets expensive. So, but like I say, just do what you can and keep plugging at it because it's not going to happen today. While a lot of people were farming Houston, I was working on that Helm early on, and then I'd break off and start doing Houston on the weekends and stuff with everyone. And you can get a lot of eights that way, but the way it's getting now, I mean, really, you can do that. But a lot of the new guys that are just coming in, unless you're farming with the group, and we've had quite a few brand new players come in that hadn't even been playing for 48 hours. They're now in level 15 schooners. So that's just one of the things we try to take people out and get them into something good. Then they can worry about running through those mission lines. But if you farm over here with us on tier 2 on Fridays and even on the weekends, or well, even throughout the week, guys, you're gonna be leveled up like super fast. So I guess I could put a Discord invite in there in the chat. Let me open that up real quick. Oh, that was one of the cool things about the having that laptop. I could just kick one in there, but I just got to put my phone on. I think and I can, yeah, that works just as well. And make sure I got a Discord invite there. Boom. There you go. And like I say, even if you see me or you don't see me in chat, say hello to people, and you'll look over at the voice chat areas. Just jump in voice chat. Usually people are in the tavern or in the leaky tap, depending on which level you want to do. I think we've got tavern as tier 1 chat, and the leaky tap is tier 2, but just pop in. People will help get you sorted into the chat and stuff. And most people are, if they're not in it already, they're just waiting for someone to be the first so they can join in and talk with you. So uh, pretty cool stuff. Okay, let's wait and see what we got time wise on a reset. 11 minutes. Yeah. Okay, so when you have that, there's not really anything. We could go run this here. I'm not going to bother with it. I'm not sure why I'm not seeing these other mini bosses. There should be 3 of them here, but I'm seeing Hunter Hunted. So we'll go ahead and hit him real quick. Then I think we're going to travel down and look manually and see if we got a visual glitch down there, if he's just maybe not in the game now. I don't know. Oh, not the ship I was wanting, but hey, whatever. I usually like to use my schooner for this one, just because you can hit him quick and far out for massive damage. You get kind of close with him, he likes to set you on fire. But you can get anywhere from 130 to 200 pieces of 8 farming this guy, and he goes down pretty quick, especially when you're fully ascended weapons and stuff. But he's only a level 5, so you should be able to take him on pretty quick in the map. And this is going to get you some silver, but it's going to get you some pieces of 8 and stuff as well. Hit those weak spots. You would probably want to make sure you don't get near the front of his ship, because he's got some massive wicked fire comes off that front weapon there. He's got the bow weapon, but okay, so what did we get? We got a silver box, 15 cupfer bars. That's great. We'll be able to get some stuff, 180 pieces of 8. And you can run these mini bosses when they're showing up on the map. You can run them back to back, just jumping from one to the other. Now I'm gonna have to go down to a fast travel because he's not showing up. That's usually what I'll spend my silver on in fast travel, is running that course. But I did notice that I'm not seeing things at Afera pop up anymore. So I don't know if they were removed from the game or if they've switched locations. I need to look at that pretty quick. But it's probably a visual glitch. He's probably down there, or someone's just farmed them. How many people's in this world? Yeah, 16 in the server, so chances are he's just getting farmed out. But as soon as you start getting 8s and stuff in, man, that's a good thing to have. And you can. One of the reasons I really enjoyed having Helm rogues will switch your ship out. I'm gonna go ahead and do a Helm delivery, but we're gonna actually just destroy the ships and show you the amount of materials you can get. Oh, come on now, cargo. There we go. Okay, so we're just gonna go to St. Anne real quick. Yeah, that was one of our viewers had posted when I was having some issues that it was going to have to be rescheduled, but I'll find another day. Like I said, we've got a lot of raids coming up Fridays and Saturdays, so I don't typically do live streams on those days because I'm in there with the guys and even a few gals to make sure that I'm getting my part of the loot. You know, make sure you get your share of it. Yeah, it's just the map glitch on the visuals. I kind of figured that, yeah. It kind of sucks because you eliminate your fast traveling over there. Let's see. Let's pick up a. I like to have a maximum, kind of a maximum wanted level when I run that. So what I do is I'll pick up these rovings first. Just kind of show you this is my daily farming method. And, like I say, it might not be for you. As long as you're coming up with some kind of a routine, though, that's the main thing. Now, you can set your mission, and he's going to be right outside here, but we'll just fast travel to Il Michel. Do I stay in Tier 1? Well, I used to farm everything in Tier 2, but they did a recent buffing here. And while, yeah, you can still destroy the guys, for the amount of 8s and stuff, that's what I'm looking at, trying to build the Helm up. For the amount of 8s you're getting, and then the expenditure of time, not just the munitions, but the amount of time it takes to sink some of those ships. If you could sink a ship in 3 hits here and move on to the next one, versus having to take 5 to 10 minutes to destroy a ship, you're going to be able to farm a lot more stuff out. So, and that's kind of what I do. I'll hit this stuff here, then I'll start farming those mini bosses, and I'll start running. If I see something come up now that's going to boost my facilities, I'll do that. Or I may decide to just do a hostile takeover just for the heck of it. I mean, 450 pieces of 8 is still 450 pieces of 8, Okay, let's fast travel. We're good now, and we're going to set sail. So what I'm doing this, I'm going to be able to pick up the helm materials. You only have to destroy one ship, by the way. Get more pieces of 8 on. I missed part of that, but yeah. So you get more 8s via the time amount. So we did a 15-minute test here. I guess it was last week or so. Just running the mini bosses in Tier 2 versus Tier 1. And even though Tier 2 does pay a little bit more, I was able to farm the Tier 1 bosses a lot more. So when I'm doing my farming and stuff and just looking to enjoy the game, I do tend to come down here to Tier 1 sometimes. But typically, if we're playing with a group and we're just doing farm raids, we're in Tier 2. I mean, we don't spend a whole lot of time in Tier 1 as a group. I mean, there wouldn't really be much need to. Okay, so we managed to get all of our materials, all 3 contracts filled. Now, we could sink the rest of these ships, and for each ship that you sink, you're going to get a little bit more time on that death wanted level there. So, ordinarily, I would sink all those, but I've got to take into account I'm still kind of relearning my controller here. It's a little bit different feeling in my hand, man. I keep hitting the wrong button. So the honorless fleets that was in here a while back, they weren't too bad to farm out originally, but what ended up happening is they were intercepting within the hunter hunted one up north, that north mini boss we were running. They used to be your basic bounties that would be on the bounty board, but they've kind of changed a lot of that stuff now. Tell you what, this thing did not want to drop anchor just now. There we go. The opulent opportunity to me isn't really worth hitting. It takes too many. Again, it's a time thing. Look, see how much time it takes you to run those. I don't bother with it. There are a few convoys that'll run down through Africa here. Those are worth hitting because you can get between 30 and 100 pieces of 8 from each of the gold ships. So take those out if you can. Some of the contracts pay pretty decent. That's not really got anything I want as far as for the time. And then, of course, the Glorious Phoenix, that's going to take a while for you to farm that out. Especially if you're a new guy, I don't recommend jumping on that unless you're in a level 13 to 15 ship. You could do it with a crew, but, you can do it without a crew, but it's just not going to happen fast. So this Missouri, to me, it's not, except for the Kupfer bars or Kuffer bars, that's nice to get. But to me, it's just not really worth my time on it. There's other things I could be doing. So what I'll do is I'll hit that like I just did. Then I'm going to come in here and clear my warehouse or put this stuff in the warehouse. Then you got to go back to St. Anne. You can pick up your contracts if you want to from Talak, but understand you're going to be traveling down through all this stuff, which is fine. If you want to change your route, what I've noticed is traveling from here down to here to make that run with those for your skull products. You're just going to sync liaison when you get there, but I don't see as many Helm rogues, and the Helm rogues is what you want. So that's going to give you the silver. It's going to give you free munitions. It's going to give you those Helm materials and stuff to be working inside. Is there a trick to beat Lepest? Yeah, strength in numbers is the biggest one. So that's one of the things. Like, there's actually a couple of Lepest missions. One of them takes place after you got to get heads. It seems like from the Plague Bringers, they're little badars with the Plague Bringers cells. But they run up around here, North Africa, and they'll have some missions where to go to get these heads. And then you're able to actually spawn Lepest, and he spawns, or used to spawn right in here. Now, year one, he would spawn right down here. But now he's spawning up here. Now, there is a Lepest that cycles in on occasion down here at Batavia Reefs. Yeah, so you're on the big one from your main mission. Yeah, so that'll be... I mean, you can solo him. It's going to be rough if you don't have a lot of the furnitures and stuff, though. That's going to be one of the ones where you want to have your a team with you, and you attack at range because he has an AOE. If you see that green glow, if you get in that, you're done. I mean, even at a level 15, and you have all the right armor and even furniture, you're not going to last long. It might buy you a half a second. Well, maybe just a little bit more than a half a second, but not really a whole lot more than that. So what level is this? This is a 4. Man, I tell you what, just not getting any good rotations on those tonight. Okay. We'll go fast travel in here rather than running back. Now what I want to do is come over and grab these order registries. And something that I have been doing too is I run my registries, which is going to be blowing up the Helm again, your liaisons. And then I'll come in here to do my attacks, which is where I run my fort plunders. And then after I run my fort plunders, I'll go ahead and run these because, hey, it does give you some materials. The thing is for each contract that you're running here and each consecutive fleet that it tries to intercept you, that you destroy, 30 minutes get taken off of your Helm time. So I did finish that off today, mainly because if I'm farming with the group, a lot of guys don't like all those extra Helm ships come in, and I want to be able to get rid of them pretty quick. So, and again, that's in the Helm settings. Okay, we need... Now we'll go ahead and nope, we can't fast travel. We'll go ahead and mark it though. Now I am running an Ouroboros armor. I don't typically do that until late stage of the pass. All these ships, even here in Tier 1, they are usually not as hard as what y'all are running into starting off. They buff the game throughout the season because they figure you're reaching a certain level, and I don't think they took into account the guys that are just now coming into the game. Because we're 30 days, I think, from a new season, so we're well within it. You know, we're about 2/3 of the way through this season, and I don't think they thought it through because there's a lot of folks that are really struggling right now. But he's doing right here, this is a great way to get your rank up. Come and plunder these. If you can take out these little ships that you run into, plunder that, because that's going to give you a lot of XP pretty quick. Typically, I would chase those Helms, but they're back the other way, and I'm trying to, like I say, conserve time on farming, so I'm not worried about those. They will spawn some more up here, or they'll have to come chase me down where I can fire at them. So I don't deter much from whatever my farming routes are. I'm mostly going to grab the 8s that are down here, and then I'm going to head back in, grab the contract, go farm. I think it was Preemie and Deuster, I think they're the ones that come up. So we'll pop those out, get those Helm materials. And again, that goes back into the laboratory, so or even over to your distillery. And it builds up your materials. And you can sell those at first stage if you want. You're only going to make half as much as you would if you waited for it to, finish your factories where you can mature that out. But yeah, you can still sell it for silver. But you could also sell it for pieces of 8 on the islands too, if that's something you choose to do. And I, like I say, I did early stage. I sold that stuff for 8s. I sold that stuff for silver, and I wasn't sure how much of it we were going to bring into season 2. They didn't mention it being reset, but I didn't want to lose it, So I've seen where your currencies get reset and things like that as new things are released into this game, and that's always something you're running into whenever. Effectively, we were playing a beta the whole first year. That must be a hostile. Yeah, it is. Wow, I'm not seeing any ships. I didn't blow up enough liaisons. Now that I've said that and I'm getting a glass of water, I'll probably end up getting shot by one of those sharpshooters and sunk. So I think one of the biggest requests right now in this game to Ubisoft is for us to be able to have the ability to build our ships to the levels and the abilities of the in-game ships. They boost them a lot, and then they nerf our weapons down, and effectively all your progress kind of starts to go backward there for the last month or so of a pass. And it sounds like that the reason they do it is because they want to keep the game challenging. I would rather fun than challenging, but you can have a lot of fun here in Tier 1. I mean, you're overpowered on most everything. You're not going to ride in and solo La Peste. Well, I take that back. You could with this schooner, you could. But maybe not at late stage. I'd have to try. If he pops up, we'll try it. Was able to solo him back in the day, but I don't know if I can or not now here in Tier 1. I never see him spawn hardly anymore. He just kind of, I don't know. I think it's something they have to trigger him. I think it's new players triggering him is what we're seeing when he pops in. But a fun thing to do is running your sea monster. So you got a Lestari that spawns down here. You can pick that contract up at Lenitra. I don't know that you need a contract. I think he just spawns there anyway. Can't believe I'm not seeing any Helm rogues. Yeah, I didn't aggro enough. I should have destroyed all them ships back there. Yeah, the Dragon Sea Monster. Yeah, you're not kidding. Now, when he first came back into the map, the one that sits, no, not there. The one that's down here, I think. Is it this one? Yeah, the level 12. No. I don't know, man. It seemed like there was another one down here. But you could solo him. That guy drunk or something? Come steered right into me. Sharpshooter. He was just wanting a reason to shoot me. Okay, so there is our Helms. I should have figured that. Anything to make you waste your shot. Let's see. We got us some rogues here. Now, I did hear a sharpshooter just pop a ballista at me. missed, thankfully. Just like I missed him. Alright, got us some silver. And you can sell a lot of this food stuff that they do, that they give you. Wasn't really hunting after DMCs, but hey, you know, I'll oblige you if you get in the way. I got some poppy too. And there's just another little sharpshooter. It looks like we actually just spawned in a nice little convoy ship. Probably go ahead and take him out too. Get those 8s while you can. He's probably headed out of zone. Yeah, he's immune. He ain't even taking damage. Well, darn. I like to say, just farm it up while you're coming down through here. Anything you sink, anything, make sure you pick your stuff up. Seems like there's a few helm materials over here I did not grab. Seemed like I missed one. Now, they did have where your beacons were bigger. Yeah, see, I thought there was at least one I missed. And you could see them on the water. That was at the beginning of year 2. We could actually see those little flares. They stood up taller. And I'm hoping that Ubisoft's going to come back and put that back in like it was. That was great. We could actually see our items on the water. Now, if the water was perfectly slick, you wouldn't need it. But there's always waves going, even if it's not up in the open seas. You always have waves. You can hardly see the stuff once you sunk it. They'd have too small of a flare. So, yeah, so here is just south of where I had us out here farming earlier. There's always privateer that sends down here. Was named Thomas Sutton, so you can actually farm him up. 850 silver. I have seen it as high as 1100, so it's a good way to get some stuff. But like I said, you're gonna get more by running these Helm missions. Okay, so there is our helms. Again, you only have to sink one. We're going to go ahead and sink them all. And then when you're running your forts here, your fort plunders, these helm rogues, they will just start spawning in around you, and you can just sit there and just mortar them from afar and pick up your stuff afterwards. There's our mark for death. Now, we're going to go ahead and hit these helm rogues here too. Things be fine. They got some spawn. I typically aim for the sharpshooter first. He's going to do the most damage. Understand there's usually 2 of them. Ram them, pop them with a bombard or whatever your broadside weapon is. Watch out for the torpedoes. It's a lot of great stuff to grab. Now, if you were doing this in tier 2, which you could, you might get a little bit more poppy, but you're going to take longer to actually fight those ships. And that sharpshooter is going to single shot you as you come in with it, trying to line up a shot. He's going to single shot you, and it's going to be end of story. And you're just going to be kicking yourself. So, like I say, don't set yourself up for a rough time when you farm. Don't feel bad if you say, you know what, I want to jump back into tier 1 and do this. Now, I do recommend farming if you're solo, jumping into tier 1, but you can farm it with tier 2 by yourself. It's not impossible, but I don't recommend doing it if you're not in a level 15 ship. A 13 would be pushing it. Now, when I say a level 15 ship, I don't mean a level 15 ship that's just the Badar with healers, because you're not going to do anything but get sunk. Now, if you're traveling with the crew, you're going to keep them alive, and they're going to keep you alive. But it's pretty rough, man. It can be rough on tier 2. I'm not going to lie to you. I hate to see people get frustrated over there. If you're getting frustrated, jump back into the kiddie pool area and do your farming there. Team up with your team or your friends, and then jump back into tier 2 whenever you feel like it. No, it depends on how I'm feeling that day. If I just want some light farming, a little fun, then I'll be in here. But there are days where you want to come in and just rage on the game and just blow everything up, and that's when it's best to jump into a tier 2 situation. Yeah, see, I just got some ammo there. Okay, so we are going to go pick up some contracts. And again, you can pick them up in Talak, or you can pick them up over here at St. Anne. It doesn't matter. I usually do my stuff at St. Anne. Just there's a weird sounding bird over there, or a cricket sounding thing over there at Talak, and it just I don't know. I don't like the sound of it. It drives me nuts. If you've ever been over there, you probably have heard it. Okay, move all this stuff in. And we'll save our food there. Mortars, cannonballs, and bombards were good. Now, if you're trying to figure out how many first aid kits to run, or you're always running out of weight, check your first aid kits, because these things get really heavy. We had a guy that was farming with the other night, and he said he couldn't hold it anymore. We had just started farming. It's like, well, tried to figure out what's going on. He didn't have too many slots filled or anything like that, and he ended up carrying. He had like, I think it was 700 of the stage 3 kits in his hold, and these things are that they will just weigh your ship down. So if you run into issues where for whatever reason you're always over encumbered, check and see if you've got too many kits. You don't really need more than 20 of any one kind. I carry 2 types. I carried enhanced 2s and the enhanced 3s. I've actually been kind of enjoying them enhanced 3s. I don't use them too much here in tier 1, but in tier 2, I use those quite a bit, and I want to get a nice stock supply of those for the let's see, we got Dooster here. We got Preemie. Another Dooster. What's this other one here? In Grand Fort. We'll run Dooster Preemie tonight. Well, it's 3 o'clock my time. Before I get started, I am going to step into a restroom real quick. Yeah, so I think one of the things a lot of people want to know is what's the most powerful weapon in the game. There's some debate about it. Some people prefer the heliports, and some people prefer the Naga's Call. It seems like there's another one in there. A lot of the builds that I use, I'm trying to get used to using tier 1 weapons. When I say tier 1 weapons, I'm talking year 1, things that you can still easily get through boxes and stuff, things that I have plenty of supply of. Okay, I need to fast travel over here to. Guess we'll run. Let's run Dooster first. Now, so what I'm using on this is you can pick up the Divine Thunders from Blackwood. Now, I don't know if he's on y'all's map right now or if y'all have to hit the black market rank as far as being a kingpin. Definitely let me know in the chat if you're seeing him and you're not a kingpin, or did you see him before you become a kingpin? Because used to he didn't show up till you was a kingpin in here. But you can pick up the Divine Thunder while I'm running on the front here. Show you what we got. Run a Divine Thunder on the front. That is ascended up, triple ascended. The Dardanella's gun. That's another year 1 item that most of us got within our first week of playing. And then the Bombard 5s as well. You can pick these up from the Anitas. With the, I think they may actually be at Blackwoods right now too, so definitely check it Blackwood. And then I built a custom build Bombard 5, so I do keep it on the back of the ship. This has the shock, double shock on there. It's got a siege perk on it. That way, if I got to hit a wall, and second storm special, which is going to add electrical damage that spreads amongst ships. Now, as far as the schooner, it's probably one of the easiest ships you're going to be able to grab pretty quick. Now, the Garuda was for sale. I don't care much for the Garuda personally for this type of farming. It's a fine PvP ship, but the way it's been nerfed so much, I don't really bother with it. You can't turn very good either with it. But this schooner, you can get that in the pass right now, and the quickest way to get the pass is to come farm with us or just be out farming, man. The more ships you sink, towers you blow up, plunders you do, start small, plunder what you can, build up. You want to try to get to Fire Bombard 3 pretty quick if you can, but the Fire Bombard 1 through 2 is going to help. Once you get up to that third one, those are found. You can bring up the codex. I forget where we got the blueprints for those actually. It's been so long ago, but you can look at the codex and get those. And you can you get the blueprint and then build them. You don't have to actually go look for the weapon. You can get the blueprint for all 3 of those. So, but look at that codex. So how do you bring codex up? Bring up your map, tab over to the knowledge tab, and the codex will be right there. And just look in your top deck weapons under bombards. You want to look for that Fire Bombard 3. But this schooner, you can open it up pretty easy right now, and it's probably, in my opinion, one of the better ships of the game. It adds massive damage to just about everything that you do with it. Now, you're not going to come in here with a lot of y'all's ships that you're using that's just coming in here, and you're not going to come smoke these fort walls. And we've all been where you're at. We actually, when we used to farm these forts back in year 1, we would line up around it. We'd bring an entire server's worth of people, and it would take us a little bit to get all 20 guys in. But we would come up here and we would farm every fort on the weekend. We still do that. And but now it only takes 1 or 2 people to actually hit it, and you can effectively farm it that way. As you can see with the right builds, you can farm it by yourself. Watch for these little ships here, because they are going to be a nightmare for you. That's how the game balanced itself, sharpshooters. Now, one thing you want to watch for is healing ships versus your grenadiers, your sharpshooters, and things like that. Take out the sharpshooters as fast as you can. Watch for flags with the plus on them, because they're going to heal the other ships whenever you're trying to deal with them. And those mortars can become a problem for you pretty quick. Let's see what we got here. Looks like a merchant. There's a healer. That's a repair ship. Now what they'll do is they'll sit there and they'll just keep repairing the enemy, and you don't want them doing that. Now what ended up happening here is we did not manage to get our plunder started. We just have an aggro of the fort, so I got to move in and manually start this. This is something that's been happening here kind of recently. I don't know what's going on. As soon as you aggro that fort, it's supposed to start automatically. Oh, there's a takeover imminent. That's why I should have checked that. Okay, with the hostile takeover on the way, we're going to have to move on to the next location. Let's go up here to Primi. It won't let you start a plunder if it's fixing to come up. But that guy's going to have a really easy takeover. All those walls are down. Now this area here is kind of a little hazard. As you can see, you got this little clip. If you're hauling in here, you're running from ships, you can pass through that as long as you remember not to get caught on it. Okay, I think we cut through here. Yep. Sure, these ships are. They're all black hold. They are the unbound support. Oh, okay. The odd that they were just kind of like sitting there. All right, and DMC ship. So same routine, we're going to come around here, we're going to take these walls out. But I remember it used to take us several passes with a lot of ships to do this. And then you would have a couple ships, sandbucks or whatever, and they would be traveling around taking care of the ships that would come in. You would end up with a lot of ships come in, and you would need some crowd control. So sandbucks are a great way to do that. There was guys in brigantines running for rammers, a lot of snows, a ton of Padawans using the what was it we used to use on this? Mons Meg 3s, and of course dart guns and stuff like that, like we're using today. But there we go. See, that's how it's supposed to start a plunder automatically. And we've dropped all the defenses, so we don't have to worry about the walls now. But what you do have to worry about is these little sharpshooters, because they are becoming more and more prevalent in the game. And of course, you got to worry about a lot of the, aggros with the aggro, the targeting with the lightning. This is becoming a more prevalent here lately. We didn't actually have lightning strikes all of year one, and we originally had it in the early stages of beta, so it kind of felt cheated. We didn't have them in year one, but we finally got them again. I like to have them. It adds that dynamic to the game. I don't know if we've managed to catch the other ship with the explosion. Yeah, we did. So that top line, for those who are unfamiliar with the plunder, what that does is that shows you there's going to be 6 prizes. We have to go all the way to the last chest on this thing to complete the contract. Once we've done that, we'll get those items as well. But there's going to be, if you see one that has a wall on it, that means that there's going to be another section of wall that's going to have to be taken out. And I'll go ahead and show you where that's at. And most of these forts over here, it's going to be on the back side. You'll see this little, it's kind of like a walkway, I guess. Right here, it'll be on the back side of it. But you have to wait for that wall to actually turn red to be destroyed. I'll show you what it looks like. See that damaged section? That'll turn red when you can destroy it. And that's usually right around the midpoint of a plunder. You get 2 of them over there on Houston. Now, you used to be able to farm Houston solo. You still can, but you got to watch out for the little sharpshooters. I think it was stage 3 when I was running that yesterday. I ended up with 6 sharpshooters, level 17s, just come flying in. It's where it's nice to have a buddy to help with some aggro on that stuff, or taking out those aggressive little ships when they poured in here while you're dealing with walls. Because they always come up right as you're still dealing with the walls, and they'll just freaking nerf you with a shot. Kind of rare to actually see a level 16 here. Not sure who Hugh is, but hey, if he wants to come up here and help destroy some ships, he can join in the plunder. But typically what will end up happening when it does that is it then turns up the scaling of the base, and you start seeing a lot more ships and a lot higher level ships coming in. But as small level as he is, I'd be surprised if he sticks around at 13. That's a Garuda, by the way. Like I say, they're an okay ship for PvP, but they don't turn very well, which to me makes it so I don't really like using them in PvE. But I guess none of the ships really turn well anymore. They changed some of the dynamics as far as the physics and stuff of it. Are you gonna be a looky-loo just sitting there waiting? So he joined in. Not sure why he didn't help shoot there, but hey, that's cool. Figure he's using the pest cannons. That's what everybody's got on there now. He could be using a divine though. Alright, we got a wall on the back side, that wall I was telling you about. And one ship. See how suddenly the ship's a little harder to destroy? That's because someone's joined in the plunder. Now, I don't typically mind if they join in the plunder as long as they have a ship that can compete within that plunder. You ought to be able to with the Garuda, but it seems like they did some things to the sharpshooting perk on that where they've actually nerfed that weapon, that front weapon down. You don't get those extra boosts and stuff to it anymore. We got another ship coming in. My guess is probably a sharpshooter and a grenadier. Let's see. Grenadier for sure. Looks like we took one of those ships out, so that's good. Can't do that in a schooner. I mean, in a Garuda. And we got another enemy around the back. It's like a level 16. Let's see. Wow. I was really expecting to see a lot of sharpshooters in here. We got lucky. And the ones with the adaptive armor is the one that's just horrible anymore. You'll be shooting them and all of a sudden your weapons are like killing them. That's why I keep the electric gun on the front and the back of this thing and the high explosives on the sides, because you can run into a nasty situation quick. We were catching some pretty bad broadsides from that guy. All right, let's go get our goods. We got 810 poppy from that. My guess is it was a double contract there. One of these were a double contract. I don't recall if it was this one or a Deuster down below. I'll go ahead and travel straight across here. It's a little quicker to get to fast travel. You know what, let's go hit Captain Dirt down here and get some 8s while we're coming across. That's a lot of Helm ships. They usually tighten in there a little better than that, but gotta spread out. Shoot him up, shoot him up. You'll be all right. You ain't hit nothing. Whatever effect it is they have that stirs the waves up like this, I would love to have, but I think it's just something the game's put in on the contract here. That's why they put it up here. catch more damage from the waves than I am him. All right. Let's see where that fast travel was. Right here. But that's essentially what I'm doing when I'm in here farming, is just running this stuff. It's going to get you 8s. It's going to get you silver. You'll get free commodities from it. You're going to get weaponry. Sometimes you can drop a gun from these guys. Nothing you're going to really want to use, but like I say, you can sell it. You can take and salvage it. I don't really sell weapons anymore. I salvage them, because even these low-level weapons here that are not ascended, you can get upgrade parts from it. And very rare, but it can happen in the Ascension module, even though it's not been ascended at all. So those are some good things to do with that. Instead of selling them for silver, you can just take and go to the blacksmith, salvage it. They're going to give you silver for it anyway. He's going to give you some silver when you salvage, plus a lot of materials. So that's a real good way to farm every aspect of the game. If you use it right, it should work to your benefit to get you what you need. Now, those of you who were saying you already have like 300,000 silver, understand that took months back in the day to grind out. It wasn't a quick haul. Most of these convoys, they only used to pay like 70 silver and things like that. This 800, 900, things like that. That was super rare to see back in year one. But so I hope you've enjoyed the stream, guys. I'm going to end this. It is after 3 o'clock here my time, so definitely get me some sleep. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll talk to y'all later.